Hey guys, got another game review. So this particular game is a match that I played against Noob, strong player, plays super fast. So it's kind of the reason I picked this game is because I ran into a position that I recognized from the interview that I did with Tone, where he showed his game versus Bill TV, and he had this awesome intermediate, and I ran into that position here and was hoping that I would get the chance to use it, and alas I did not, but I just wanted to point it out. It's a cool position. So I open with e3, and he comes up with g5. I bring my queen out. I'm a little torn on this move. I like to hold on to my queen a little bit longer, but I'm kind of hoping like, hey, maybe I can get in here and kill some of his pieces. So he brings his bishop over, and so I'm going to take the free pawn, and then he drops his bishop back, threatening on b2. So I'm definitely going to take that, and then he moves his knight out, and I take that one as well. So I feel like, alright, I gave up my queen, but I killed off a pawn and a knight and a bishop, and so I think I'm okay in this position. The only catch is he's only used 3 seconds off his clock. So I develop my knight, and then he moves his king over to open up his queen coming down here, which is fine. Like, alright, he'll get rid of his queen for a pawn, so I'm fine with that trade. And so then this is where we get into this position that I noticed. So I've got my knight sitting right in front of my king, and my king can't go anywhere. And so a lot of players like to bring their bishop out to this square, thinking, hey, I can get rid of this bishop because he can't uncover that knight. And then this is where I recognize the position that Tone had showed from his game. And so what's cool is if, say that they go ahead and do this, you basically shift the direction that the bishop's going. So we throw the knight in front, and he has to capture, and then we've got this intermediate where we're moving this knight out of the way, so he's no longer, he can't attack there, he has to attack here instead, and we're coming up and attacking the king, so then the bishop has to come back and grab it. So if we do that, he comes back here, and now we can just run his bishop through the pieces. So kind of come back here. So I'm hoping that that's what he's going to do. He doesn't. He moves his knight out. And so I kind of just do a stalling move. I drop my bishop down. I was like, hey, I'm still covering this piece. Come and get it. Come and get it. And he moves up a pawn. And I'm like, all right, come on, man. Just do it. So I line up. This is kind of like a long pin. It's kind of a long shot because he's got 2 pieces in there protecting it. But I'm creating a follow-on attack for if he decides to move his bishop down here, where he thinks that he's going to attack this, then I can get a single intermediate, and then he can come back up and attack this pawn. So I'm really desperately trying to get him to move that bishop out, and he's just not having it. So instead, he moves his rook over and is kind of lining up this kill here. So I move my king over, thinking, all right, well, maybe I just need to uncover this knight, so that if he's attacking on this square, I can move my king out of the way. So then he pushes his king over, and I see, all right, now he's looking at grabbing my pawn, which really I'm okay with. Kind of depends on what he's going to end up doing with his knight, but I would like to get, since that pin's going away, I'd like to set up another pin if I can. So I ditch my knight, and now I've got my pawn ready to push up to reapply that pin. He gives those pieces away like I was expecting. He's got this promotion space covered at the moment, so he's going to need to get rid of his knight or move it out of the way, which he's not going to be able to do because now I've got his bishop. So he goes and basically gets rid of that pin, but now he's in a pretty tough spot because his rook's kind of trapped, and like really in a few moves I can go in and get his bishop if I like. And so I go ahead and just promote to a king and set up that pin with the rook. He doesn't have very many moves, so he's just pushes the pawn. And at this point, I'm like, hey, I don't need this king. Like, I've got enough pieces, so let's just get rid of his pawn. So now he has even less spaces to move. So he's kind of just like, he doesn't have any choice, so he's just pushing his pawn again. I got a few options here. Probably what I should have done here, this is kind of just a faster position, is just throw that up so that his bishop has to come down here, I recapture, and then I've got his rook. That would probably be an easier cleaning, but I continued with he has nowhere to move, so let's look to line up his bishop to go through my pieces. So he comes out to e6, and so now he's attacking 2 squares at once, which is kind of like probably the best move. You want to try to make it complicated if you're in that position. So I kind of just slide out of the way and line up a bunch of kills with his bishop. So now he knows he's got to use his rook and try to get down here so that he can have to just make things more complicated. So I give it another target and he takes it. And now I'm really just hoping that he captures here and I can capture back with my rook. And he does. And now I can just slide my rook back and forth. And at this point too, I had 5 seconds on my clock. Let's see, like 6 seconds. I think I thought a little bit too long in this spot. Like, I just wanted to make sure I didn't screw it up because I'm famous for screwing it up. So then at this point, it's just sliding the rook back and forth a bunch and getting the win. So that was a fun game. And the main point was just to point out that I saw that trap position that Tone had set up. So if you watch other people's games, or if you see things like this, interviews, or any of the interviews that RTP did with players where they showed some of their favorite games, like, you can go back and watch those and you know, see cool positions and winning spots that maybe you wouldn't have found on your own. So that's the game. We'll do more next time. See you guys.